Welcome back to Fakely Clash, guys. Today, we're looking at this new army using Yetis and Root Riders. Interesting combination. Brought to us by Patrick. He had a perfect clan war his last two, and he led the clan in ranked league trophies in that Legend League. So this is the attack. You can really read through it, but I'm going to link it in the description down below. I'm going to show you all each of his last four war attack, so it's going to be a bit of a longer video today. You guys can feel free to definitely skip around. Here is everything. We're going to use that troop thrower as the siege, and all the equipment, it's pretty standard. Doesn't have to use a fireball or anything like that, so let's jump right on into the attacks. And at the beginning of the attack, this part is really important. Use that world champion with that pet to stay invisible and save as much as these invisibility spells as you can. Just try to time it correctly. Obviously, count to 4 in your head out loud, however you want to do it. And then make sure to drop the invis, and then just know the pet is going to make you invisible next. I have it in 2x speed just because it would take forever watching all of these world champion walks. But look at this insane value he gets. Most of these attacks, he is going for that Guardian nice and early on. Here you notice the Ice Golem, then the Queen, her ability, and right after that, you're deploying the rest of the army. Starting with the Ice Golem, get everything out in front, the Troop Slinger in the back, and you basically just spam everything down. And then we'll see in a minute here, the World Champion is going to come behind. Guys, my cat just jumped out of nowhere. I didn't even know he was in the room. So he's saving all of his heroes' abilities once everything goes in the base, then drop those headhunters. And that way, when you do pop this Warden ability, they're protecting the headhunters as well. And I really want you guys to notice that in all of these attacks, that Overgrowth spell, it's going on the Flame Spitter, because that thing can really mess up an army like this doing all that splash damage. So just keep that in mind. I know the Overgrowth spell, it takes a little bit of practice, but just aim for a Fire Spitter and you should be good to go most of the time. Same thing with that World Champion walk. If you're not using, or if you're not used to using the pet with the World Champion on the walks, it does take a little while to get used to, but over some time, it'll get pretty easy for you. And then this army is just going to keep taking on this base. I will say, in my experience with this army, a lot of my attacks in the beginning did end up time failing. So keep that in mind as you're going through the attack. It's not the fastest possible, so don't take forever on little things. Jumping into the second attack, notice how he starts out by putting an invisibility spell on that wizard tower. That's just to help with this pathing to get towards that revenge tower, because it's really strong and it'll mess up your army very quickly if you don't take it out early. Next thing you'll notice, if you can keep the pet alive, that is super beneficial. In this attack, he does not, and he does have to use a good bit of those invisibility spells. So that's the benefit of having all of them, kind of as insurance. Now, same start, Ice Golem comes out before the Queen. Shortly after that, the next Ice Golem, and just the rest of the army. Spam down, healers in the back. Drop that siege barracks down, and then once everything moves into the base, that's when you're going to want to drop this World Champion. And one thing I did not test out with this army is using the Frost Flake on the World Champion, because notice she hasn't used her ability yet or anything. That'll come later in the attack. This Frost Flake would be really perfect for this army. I just know most people don't have it leveled up because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense with a lot of the armies in the game. Anyways, I know I'm kind of rambling. The Overgrowth spell on that Flame Spitter again, or Fire Spitter. And look at everything has path to like the exact same place in the middle of this base. Totem spell comes down to help out with that Monolith. Another thing that would be good would be a Skeleton spell. I love using those on the Monolith. And I actually have not tried that with this army, so it's definitely something to consider. Anyways, a ton of troops alive. This attack is looking really well, and it has gone really fast. I'm not going to lie, it took me a few attacks before I stopped time filling, so you'll have to get used to that in the beginning. But it's really good once you get used to it. And you'll also notice in most of these attacks, the king saves his ability until like the very end. So that's one thing that's cool about it. The king somehow just stays alive no matter what. You're going to see him have a couple miraculous finishes in some of these attacks. And now as we speed it up, we're going to see this attack ends up finishing with 3 stars between the king and all of those cleanup troops. So he's 2 for 2 right now. Let's look at the third one. Starting out with this walk, of course, time it correctly, give it about 3-4 seconds of the pet, and then drop the invisibility spell and just keep that momentum going. And he gets really good value here by taking out this multi-gear tower and clan castle with the world champion walk. So you're not always aiming for the same thing. In this case, he wasn't able to get that revenge tower. but he still ends up getting great value nonetheless. And guys, if you're still watching this video, could you please hit that like button for me? Let's shoot for 10 likes on this video. I obviously don't get paid anything for these, and this is a little bit longer than usual, so it's going to take a lot longer to edit and publish and polish and all that good stuff. So if we can hit 10 likes, that would absolutely make my day. Anyways, we'll carry on with this attack. Same thing, Ice Golem goes first every single time, and that could be a big mistake if you forget that. And notice he's always going in with the full attack on the side that had the world champion walk. Remember, that world champion is not just out there to destroy a bunch of buildings, she's also out there to help with tunneling and pathing and all of that. Because look at this funnel, insane. The queen is going around the base, which is unfortunate, but everything else is heading right into the center. So this makes 2 attacks in a row where the queen just dies at the beginning of the attack. And this still ends up in a 3-star. Because everything pushes to the center of the base and just incredible pathing. That overgrowth spell is going to go on top of that fire spitter. Same thing every attack, guys. I mean, it's super simple and it's easy to use once you get the hang of it. It does take some practice, like I said before. You don't want to be having them time fails and you don't want to be failing that world champion walk. So definitely get familiar with it. And then as far as the overgrowth, just find somewhere to put it over a fire spitter and some other value would be nice. We'll speed it up because everything is just cleaning up. And this attack, really good. There's the late king ability. And this attack is crushed considering it was done pretty much without an archer queen. Now we made it to the 4th attack. And starting the same way in 2 times speed, notice how he goes pet, then spell, then pet, then spell, and you want to keep that in sync as long as you can. And bonus points if you can make it to the end and recall both the world champion and her pet like he did in this attack right here. Now, similar side to where he went in with the world champion, that's where he's going in with the archer queen and then all of the troops right after in the order. Ice Golem first, guys. Cannot stress that one enough. And everything's going to be pushing on into this base. You'll notice it's an interesting layout, so things do kind of go around, which takes a little bit of time off the clock, but he does still manage to pull through in this attack. And, I mean, just check this out. The overgrowth goes on that fire spitter once again. Actually covers up that expo as well, which is great. You got to be careful with that. You want to definitely aim for that fire spitter, but don't do it in a way that's going to screw up your pathing completely. In this case, it kind of allows the world champion to go into the center and get all of these defenses like the Revenge Tower, because that thing could have caused some big problems as over 40% of damage was already done on the base. Anyways, I'll quit rambling on, let you guys continue watching this attack, and this one is crushed. You see what happens whenever the Archer Queen stays alive the entire time, and things just go correctly. We'll put it in faster speed, because his base is just getting crushed. I mean, he's still got the king's ability late here at the end. There it is, and then everything dies off. Yeah. So it's just the king now, and he's racing against everything. 4 times speed will just kind of check him out as he barely gets by with no freaking health and gets the 3 stars. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I know it was a little bit longer of a video, but if you made it to the end, thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time.